What's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Rick Reads Comics. We're continuing through X-Men and it's House of X and Powers of 10. We got all 6 issues of each collected in this volume. And right now we're going to be on chapter 8, which is actually Powers of 10, number 4. Last time we did House of X, number 4, and now we're going to jump back to the future again. If you missed a lot of parts, you're jumping in. This is the first video you've watched. You can go back on my playlist, Rick Reads Comics, and you can check them out. They're all in order by issue of House of X or Powers of 10. But here is the cover. You saw it on the thumbnail in full color. We had a crazy episode last time, and a bunch of heroes died. And now we're going to see how that affects the future, I guess. But we'll check it out and see. So here you go. This is chapter 8, Something Sinister. Powers of X, number 4. Let's jump in. So X to the 0 power, the X-Men, year 1. Bar Sinister. Halt, strangers. State your business. But please, God, don't ask for help or a handout because, while yes, we have much, we really can't be bothered with the sad problems of sad people. And oh, look, you're wearing a cape. How perfect. I'm guessing you don't have an appointment because who wears that having the other? We do not have an appointment, but it's important that we see Nathaniel Essex. Which one? There are so many of us. So this is Mr. Sinister. But like you said, there's a lot of clones, I guess, different ones. We'll settle for the one in charge. The one in charge. Well, aren't you something? Yes. The outfit's ridiculous, but you do have an air about you. There's no denying that. Your friend, however, this just won't do. It will not play well at court. A sad little man in his sad peasant suit, stuck in his sad little chair. Throws him across. Eric, we need this man. No, Charles, this man needs to decide if he wants to escort us inside or if he wants to continue thusly and suffer the consequences. I think that's a good picture of Magneto right there. 2 minutes later, he's escorting him in. Mr. Sinister, I present to you the mutants Magneto and Professor Charles Xavier. Hello, thank you for seeing us. We've come to stop. Before either of you says another word, I want to make one thing perfectly clear. I love that cape. Amazing. Why do I not have a cape? How do I not have a cape? What in the world? This is crazy. It's a crime, sir. An outrage. Honestly, I've always thought you should wear one. Well, if you really thought that, why didn't you say something? It slipped my mind. Execute this man. The world, and then they just chop him up right there. Now, how can I help you? Actually, it's our hope that we can help one another, as we're aware of your ongoing endeavors in the area of genetics. And how would you know about that? Oh, we have our ways. Well, honestly, I'm not surprised word is getting out. I do amazing work. So, if you don't know, Mr. Sinister is a lunatic. He's crazy and experiments on other mutants. And apparently, in the future, he has a big part to play. So, right now, this is the past, though, and they're talking to him. We also know about the library you're building, your attempt at cataloging the world's DNA. Don't judge. I can't be shamed into changing who I am. We don't want you to. What we're suggesting is a slight deviation of focus. Continue with your broad indexing if you want, but we need you to prioritize making a comprehensive database of all mutant DNA, safe, secure, redundant. We can provide you with samples you might have trouble getting on your own, including ours. Well, as I'm sure even a serf would comprehend, the point of one collecting is found in the value of one's collection. So explain to me why I would take such a special interest in the mutant gene. I have seen the future, and this cause, mutantdom, is yours. No, I think not. I've played around with introducing that aberrant gene into my superior genetic structure, and let me tell you, I didn't like the results, and I won't tolerate any such blam. Somebody shoots him. But I will. He got killed by another Mr. Sinister. There's one with the cape and everything else. There he goes. Psst, it's me, the Sinister with the mutant gene. And if you must know, my mutant power is overthrowing tyrants and being absolutely fabulous. I can see that. So we're in this together. I love the ambition. I love every bit of it. So tell me, partners, what's next for our sinful secret confederacy? First, you need to begin the good work. And then I need you to forget why you're doing it and that we were ever here until the day I tell you to remember. Okay, that is a twist. And now we're going to jump to the future, I'm sure. But we have another information block. So if you've been following along with the other episodes and the other issues, there's little information blocks in between that kind of update you on stuff in the universe of the Powers of 10 and House of X. So here we go. We got the Red Diamond. All the best news and gossip from Bar Sinister. Sinister secret number 1. He's trying to pretend that no one noticed he was wearing red shoes, but this truly sinister isn't fooling anyone. Sinister secret number 2. And speaking of fashion, the Whisper Network has turned into a roar regarding the return of this trend-setting mutant who was cut down in his prime. Will someone please tell all these mutants to stop wearing human clothes and join the stampede across their island full of flowers to the flower that's the fullest? Sinister secret number 3. Years ago, a deceased red-headed pretender made a pact with the devil. When she passed on, most believed that any secret she had went with her to the grave. Won't everyone be surprised when they find out not only is this not true, but she left behind a whole lot more than secrets? Sinister secret number 4. While every sinister has been busy wondering how they might be affected by current events, almost no one noticed what washed ashore. A word of advice to all things sinister. Don't embrace the revelry, or there won't be anything for you to celebrate. Sinister secrets revealed. Certain people are wondering where the tyrant dispelling Sinister got his mutant gene, and while that really isn't an interesting story, whom the DNA originally belonged to is. And this is John Proudstar Thunderbird. Sinister secret number 5. He's the best there is at what he does. She's married with a kid. The husband knows exactly what's going on, but who is he to point the finger? He's up to much the same and more. Maybe this is just the new normal on the mutant island. Sinister secret number 6. Everyone believed that the plan of this Progerian mutant with secret sinister ties was foiled, but little did the gifted ones know that the destroyed samples were switched out beforehand. Sinister secret number 7. 2 brothers jumped out of a plane, and for the longest time, until he was discovered, many wondered if there was a third. If we told you there were more, would you believe me? Probably not. Sinister secret number 8. For years, this fittest of all mutant has routinely surrounded himself with a particular numbered entourage. These hangers-on stick around for a while until they are eventually replaced with newer, more exciting members. What most people don't know is that if the original members returned, these pretenders would be dropped so fast their heads would spin. Sinister secret number 9. They say the kids are all right, but all is not right in paradise. This couple has been apart so long, friends are expecting that when they see each other again, fireworks are going to ensue. Is the universe ready? Judging by how unprepared everyone was for what's happened so far, we kind of doubt it. Sinister secret revealed. We don't hear this word spoken often, so when we do, it's best to pay attention, because when you square that circle, what took a long time to build can come crumbling down rather quickly. Inferno. Sinister secret number 10. Which brainwashed mutant Sinister was replaced long before a certain bald somebody knew and has been in on the game for almost as long as the game was being played? Okay, well, some of those make sense to me. Some of them do not. But I'll let you think of that what you will. And I'm sure, because a bunch of series come after this collection, so I'm sure some of that comes to play in those. All right, here we go. X, the X-Men, months ago. Or X to the first power, months ago. All right, somewhere in the jungle, I guess. I'm not going to lie, Professor. I wish you told me we were taking a vacation. I would have packed a bathing suit and probably some sunscreen. Oh, that the world would allow those like you and me some respite from the toils of everyday life, Douglas. I'm sorry to say, this is not a vacation. This is Krakoa. Oh, cool. The secret island where mutants come to die. Fantastic. Excellent choice, sir. Is it wrong to expect more than sarcasm from someone whose mutant power is understanding and deciphering the nuances of any language? Yeah. Sorry. It's quite all right. The days of Krakoa being our adversary are long past. It took some effort to understand the island, but eventually I was able to telepathically make a connection. From there, the relationship between Mutant Island and Mutant Man has grown. Come on, I want the two of you to meet. So there you go, he's feeling stuff. Here we are. Say hello, Douglas. Oh, hi there, big fella. And then Krakoa speaks something. Whoa, okay. No fricatives, which makes sense. But the layering is dense, more than I would normally expect. I'm picking it up, but I need more. Ask him something else. How's he feeling or whatever? How are you feeling today, my friend? And he speaks. He says he's sad. Let me guess. The telepathic conversation you're having is a lot closer to emphatic than actual language, right? I mean, yeah, you're not talking, but not at a complex nuance level. Xavier, friend. Island, friend. Friends happy. Friends many years. That kind of thing, yeah. Are you saying Krakoa isn't sad? No, he's definitely unhappy. It's just a bit more complicated, deeper than that. So, what did he say? I'm sure I missed some of it, but we were Okara, the One Land, ancient before that word existed, but not yet old in the way that they were old. The twilight sword of the enemy tore the world asunder, and what was one became two, Arako and Krakoa. And from the chasm between them, from whatever wicked place they came, the enemy poured into the world. Is that apocalypse? It might be. If not for the man who was not a man, the first mutant, the warrior god in blue, the world would have fallen. But using all his mighty powers, he stood in the gap, pushed Arako through the chasm, set his four to sentinel that land, and sealed the chasm shut. There's the four, never to be opened again. It was a thing that had to happen. It was, but Krakoa remains alone, a half, not whole, for now and forever, or something like that. Later. Man, it sure is beautiful here. I'm glad you like it. I was hoping that you wouldn't mind spending some time here on your own. Ah, Professor X has plans. I'm interested. It's better if I show you. Okay. And he entered his mind. Well, that's ambitious. What we're doing isn't. How long will it take? Phonology, syntax, I'll have to build an interface. The ecosystem is an unknown, so that'll be tricky. I don't know, months, maybe a year if I'm terrible at this. How's that sound? Like you've got quite a bit of work ahead of you, young man. Best get to it. Threw him his bag, looks in there, and that's how the beginning of Krakoa started, I guess, with the mutants. Okay, another information block. Current Krakoan systems. Krakoa, interface built by Douglas Ramsey, Cypher. So that is who this is, Douglas, Cypher. A translation program so that other mutants can interact with the island without needing Cypher to act as a go-between. All right, so you got the transit monitoring, Sage, defense observation, Black Tom Cassidy, secondary external systems is Trinary, and Overwatch data analysis is Beast. And it says, note, While there has been no actual evidence of a Krakoan skunk works existing, there are rumors of a massive subterranean laboratory where Forge is busy building biological machines that could possibly be used to manage a mutant expansion on the island. Wow, okay. So now we're jumping to the future again. And it says X to the third power, the X-Men year 1000. And we have this part. I think this is a continuation from one of the other issues, but we'll see. I am the first of the elders. In this, my seer self. We are ready for conversion. We hope for ascension. We, Phalanx, care little for hope. Will you ascend? We have to try, don't we? Isn't that what's next? The idea of your great union existing just beyond our reach is something we cannot tolerate, do we? Okay. Reaches out, grabs it, and it disintegrates. Well, am I in there anywhere? Anywhere, there, in, we, Phalanx, am. If so, then you'll know the sequence, as I know the sequence. Between us, we, the only two. There was a city on the mountain, and behind it the sun shone brightly, and then too brightly as it expanded to consume the city, the mountain, the world. So it worked. Okay, I don't really know what that is yet, but we're going to find out. Yes, it worked. The question remains yes. Do you find this form, this conversion, acceptable? Okay, and they start moving around, separating and mixing. Await response. Await answer. I don't understand what just happened. The Phalanx are the forerunners of a galactic empire that we believe has dominion over the entirety of the known universe. Of course, empire isn't accurate, as we believe that neither their actions nor desires are in any way imperial. It's just the only word that conveys the scale of what we're talking about. What do they want? It's not what they want, it's what they do. The Phalanx have the ability to integrate any machine intelligence into the collective, which after a period of time, if that intelligence is found useful, worthy, it will eventually ascend and be part of the greater collective, subsumed into the empire. Clearly, we now know they find us useful, which should be celebrated. But here you are, not celebrating at all, not one bit. Everything always comes down to a question of cost, doesn't it? The problem is that this method doesn't work with biological entities. Uh, so the elder made a host machine, an empty vessel, and copied himself over to it before the phalanx absorbed it. We just confirmed that he was in there somewhere. Foreboding, isn't it, librarian? That they want us and not you. So you're trying to trick them. No, we don't think there's any tricking them. We just hope we found a way around the problem. Now we wait to see if they find it acceptable. All right. Well, all that is pretty confusing, but we're going to find out what it actually means, I'm sure, in the future. I'm not afraid of what I've done, but I do fear what it will one day cost. Professor X. Okay, back on Krakoa. Humans. Is there any good in them? Well, Lorna, it's important to remember that mankind didn't really take off as a species until hunting and gathering ended and they transformed themselves into an agrarian nation culture. They stopped moving around and said, "This is a good place. It is fertile and ours, and from this land we will not be moved." And that's the one good thing humans taught us: society. Okay, so they're sitting there, they're looking at this. Charles and I always wondered what would happen if mutants stopped being hunted, and if we didn't have to run anymore, didn't have to hide. What would happen when, like with man, the greatest necessary traits in mutantdom weren't strength and aggressiveness, but intelligence, ingenuity, and creativity? And now we know. Here they come, Father. Yes, here they come. All right. this is some other X-Men. And that's pretty cool because it connects to some older stuff. Anyway, we'll see what this means. That's awesome. Pablo Medina had seemingly benign and pointless powers. He could make golden balls appear. Until recently, the only thing we knew about them was that they were composed of biological matter and that there was no upper limit on how many of these balls Pablo could generate. Then we discovered they were eggs, which, when combined with a touch of Proteus, a little warp of reality, those eggs became viable. And after injecting them with the preserved DNA of a mutant, Elixir, the life giver, would kickstart the process of cellular replication. After that, all our mutant embryo needed was time to mature. Huh. Wow, that's crazy. Time, the slave of Eva Bell. We've learned creating life is delicate and almost impossible work. The truth is that on their own, these mutants would be incapable of the intricate dance necessary to pull off these Promethean feats, but hope is a great unifier. That's crazy. So, with these mutants, Pablo, Hope, Proteus, Elixir, and Eva Bell, they're going to bring people back, I think. Her powers enable theirs to operate at both their peak and in unison. Separate, yes, they are great mutants, but only significant, not transcendent. Together, however, these five mutants have made us whole. And this is kind of that scene we saw in the very beginning when Cyclops and Jean Grey and everybody were crawling out of these eggs or whatever in this tree. So this is all bringing it back and making sense. So they're breaking out, they're crawling out. Professor X touches them and he says, "To me, my X-Men." Wow, this is crazy. Especially if you watch the last episode, which I'm not going to give everything away. Here's what I don't get, Father. Isn't it just their bodies? Temporally evolved to their desired age, perhaps even to their optimal and perfected form, but it's not them, is it? It's just a shell. Watch. All this time, everyone has misunderstood what Cerebro really was. Yes, with it, Charles could locate any mutant in the world. But that eventually became the secondary function of the machine. So he puts the visor back on Cyclops. The first was copying the mind, the essence, the anima of any mutant Xavier found. So he could one day put a soul back into its mutant shell. There you are, my boy. Even knowing I could bring you back, a part of me dies when any of you do. So let's not do that again, shall we? Did it work? It did. You succeeded, and your sacrifice was not in vain. It was a gift, and in the giving you saved us all. Thank you, Scott. Thank all of you. Wow, that's crazy. On your feet, mutants. The world is not ready for the likes of your return, but Krakoa is waiting. Okay, so and I'll just go ahead and say in the House of X, the last issue, all these guys died, and it was real sad. And I was kind of devastated a little bit because some of these are my favorite characters, but now they're back. So that was pretty crazy. And that's the end of the issue. All right. That's awesome, though. Makes me excited. And it also explains why there's so many things after this. It's because they're still alive. So that's really cool. All right. Next time, looks like Apocalypse is coming back into play. We're going to be back in House of X, number 5, I think, chapter 9, Society. But thanks for joining me. I'll see you again next time, guys. All right. Later.